Now, men are emotional and sensitive creatures. Their joystick really don't have a mind of their own. They don't actually. I would like to say that they're interconnected with the workings of their heart and brain. Their thoughts and feelings drive their ability to become aroused, sustain an erection, and even avoid premature ejaculation. And with that in mind, ladies, I will give you today 7 possible reasons why he can't even get it hard for you. I've heard love making in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. ish, when everyone is asleep, when everywhere is quiet, when everywhere is dark. That's usually the sweetest and so fulfilling kind of intimacy you could ever get with a man. Anyways, moving on. Hey loves, my name is Jane Lawrence and I'm your love doctor. Now, without waste of time, I will just go straight into it. Number 1, the joystick can't rise without compromise, and this actually has nothing to do with the bedroom. So consider this as foreplay. A man needs to feel that he has a say in the decision making in that relationship. Otherwise, he feels like another child or a pet. So if you need his joystick to respond to you without any sort of hassle, right? Then do not nag him. It's simple as that. Most men don't do well with a spouse that constantly tell them what they're doing wrong or could have been doing right. And I get it. I get it. Men can be unreasonable sometimes. They can act the fool sometimes. But overall, your man needs a lover, not another mother. Okay? Of course, we all know that emasculation destroys a man's confidence, and the last thing that he's capable of doing is performing. So if your man feels lesser than a real man, he certainly won't want to be closer to you. Not in that way. Alright? So look, this is how I need you to see it. The man is the head of the family, but the woman is the neck. Alright? And I tell you, she can turn the head whichever way she wants. Now, I don't know if I've said this before, but listen, women, there is an overload of power in our juicy pots. See, when a woman sleeps with her husband, he becomes entranced. Have you noticed that? That's how powerful we are. But we must be careful not to abuse our powers as women. Our job in a relationship is to support, to empower our partners. Well, of course, that's a partner who has really been good to us, because there are some men that do the unthinkable and make it really hard for any woman to possibly love them. I'm not talking about those ones. So how do you do that? I mean, support and empower him. Help him feel productive and useful around you. Give him tasks to do. Ask him for help. Men love it when you ask them for help. It bloats them with purpose. When he feels purposeful, he will feel impassioned towards you. Alright? So remember, the neck is purposeless without the head. It's useless without the head. And the head is paralyzed without the neck. So a man and a woman need each other equally. And listen, when the need is mutual, there is no way his joystick will not rise to the occasion. Now, number 2, if he doesn't trust you, he would not be able to get it up for you. And that's the same for women too. Plus, you know, this is an extension of the first reason that I gave to you. Now, listen, a man needs to know that he can trust you. He needs to know that he can be vulnerable in front of you. He needs to know that when he's done being the man of the house, he can be fragile enough with you, and you will in turn nurture him. Men are like babies. They get scared too sometimes. But the difference between us and them is that they tend to internalize their fears. Hence, that's the reason why everything with them seems to be fine on the surface, but he cannot just get aroused in front of you. That's because he feels the same inadequacies that you feel. He needs your support. He needs to feel comfortable to come to you at any given point in time, to be listened to be held, and to be heard. So when a man senses that there is safety and trust between you and him, he will want to love you and be as close to you as possible, and of course inside of you all the way. Now, another reason why he's not able to get the joystick up for you is because he's just not in a mood. moody. Men experience that too. I mean, like, look, men and women have a lot in common. Even if we don't share the same genitals or the same structure, we all have bouts of depression, anxiety, stress due to internal and external factors such as job, finance, emotional and physical conditions, all of that stuff. Hormone rises and falls for men, not just women. We're not the only ones who get weepy and agitated during the month. Of course, they too do. But like I said earlier, men internalize. They are internal beings. And by that, I mean that they internalize their feelings more than women. So you don't get to see them act irrationally. Look, the truth is that when we are in our minds and we are disconnected from our bodies, our genital arousal is the last thing on our to-do list. It's the last thing we would ever want to do, get aroused. So this is where communication is very paramount. So in this case, what you need to do is sit down on the couch with him, or take a walk down the street, or maybe just soak in a tub together and talk things out. See, when you share your thoughts and your feelings together, you both would experience what I call emotional ejaculation, a release of tension. And of course, when the tension is released, there will be room for other things to replace it. And trust me, when a man feels like he can lean on you, he will lean into you too. Trust me on that one. Now, number 4 reason why his joystick is not standing at attention in the presence of you is that he may not just be ready for a baby or an STD. And this is a completely legitimate and rational fear that disrupts a man's ability to become aroused. So if a man is not ready for a child and you're not on any birth control, there's always a chance that, he knows that you can conceive if he's not ready to be a father, or if he's not ready to get married to you. And also, if you're new to him, you're new to one another, and he hasn't done any STD screening with you, he doesn't know for certain if you're a carrier of any STDs or STIs. So this is where the psychological and physiological side of the joystick shuts it down to protect your dude. Remember, the lovemaking is a mind thing. If the mind is missing, if the mind is nowhere to be found, the joystick is not going to function. It's as simple as ABC. That's how it works for men. So there are remedies for this, all right? And it's very simple. Find a form of birth control that works for both of you. Go get tested and screened for STDs together. Talk about the options that you're taking together. Because listen, there is no rush to hop into anyone's bed. Take your time. It will be worth the wait, especially when you can be carefree about it. Number 5 reason why a man may not likely get his joystick up for you is if he has had too many drinks. One too many drinks. And without getting all scientific, I would just state it simply that alcohol depresses the brain and the joystick. It just causes men to go to sleep down there. So if this does happen, I beg of you, don't make fun of him, don't tease him, do not get mad, do not shame him, just kiss him instead. Be the good girl. Get him a glass of water, go to sleep, and maybe you will just have the best middle of the night sex you've ever had once he sobers up, all right? And indeed, I've heard the love making in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. ish, when everyone is asleep, when everywhere is quiet, when everywhere is dark. That's usually the sweetest and so fulfilling kind of intimacy you could ever get with a man. Anyways, moving on. Number 6, your man probably can't get it up because he watches too much of corn movies. Mind you, corn is an alternative for the name that I'll be using for X-rated movies on here. So just get it into your vocabulary while you're on this channel, just like the powerhouse, the juicy pot, and the joystick, and all of that stuff, all right? Now, I have read many studies about the link of overexposure to pornography and the inability to initiate and sustain, a genital arousal. It's not something that I will be talking about anytime soon, all right? So I would just leave it for you to go to the experts online and figure out for yourself to explain in depth what that means, because there are other issues, other pressing issues that I would like to talk about, which is addiction to corn movies. So if your partner has been single for a prolonged period of time and has solely relied on the use of pornography, all right, for pleasure, it may take him a while to adjust to your warmth and your real body. But then again, Several studies have shown that, abstinence from pornography can reverse the issue and reintegrate men into normal sexual functioning over a period of a month or two. All right, just like you can break a habit in a month or two. So men, listen, when you're used to stroking yourself over such videos over time and frequently, you start to lose your ability to retain semen. For some men, they find it hard to come without it, even in front of a woman. All right, because of how they've been so involved in the sort of picture, the image that these court movies have been putting out there, so to put it. So what can you do to support your partner as a woman? You need to be patient. If he's committed to you, he will take the step necessary to ensure that you have a healthy, passionate, intimate life with him. All right. Finally, some men can't get it up for some reason. Out there, it's a two-way street, right? Number one, they're just not into you, or number two, they're way into you. It's rare that a man becomes intimate with a woman he's not mildly attracted to, if not completely attracted to. So I wouldn't worry that, he's not into you and all of that stuff. I think that it's the opposite. I think that he thinks that you're the sexiest woman he's ever been with in real life, and he feels like he's living a dream, especially if you guys are just meeting for the first time. So when a man genuinely, truly is head over heels in love with you, he will be nervous and scared of disappointing you and not being able to perform to what he perceives as your expectations. And trust me, in that state, there could be so many things flooding through his mind, all of the things that could go wrong. And unfortunately, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it's going to happen. He cares. He cares probably too much. So much, and he wants to be the best lover that you've ever had. And of course, he's going to have trouble getting it up because he's all up in his head. He has a mental and emotional hat on. But until some blood drains from his brain towards the South Pole, you will need to be patient and cut him some slack. So take it slowly, really slow. Tell him to close his eyes. Spend time cuddling, kissing, and touching. Show him through your gesture just how much you want to be with him. And he will slowly awaken from his dream and join you in the moment and rise to that occasion. And so to this end, I want to say this, that the best thing that we could do for our men, the men that we love, is to love them no matter what. Let's help them. Let's help them feel special, appreciated, important, heard. Because when your man feels this way, you will have a hard time keeping him off. Trust me on that one. Men are like babies, remember I said that. So that will be all for now. Catch you on the next show coming up really soon. My name is Jane Lawrence. Goodbye for now.